Hello and welcome back to the Mindful Reads Book Club. Today we will be going over The Untethered Soul by Micheal Singer. So I just want to start out with my overall thoughts of the book. I thought it was beautiful. It made me question so much. It's left me with so much to think about how I approach life and how I approach things that bother me, I guess. Things that have set with me. And I don't know, just letting those things control me. So what I am doing right now to embody this book the most is to kind of notice when I'm experiencing a sensation that I don't like and I'm releasing it. I want to just be happy. Like, why else are we on this earth? I mean, I'll get into that a bit later, but just want to be happy. So starting out on page 41, there's this idea of that you are not your thoughts. And if you're not your thoughts, then who are you? Your thoughts are that your job. That's not you. That's not you. Your thoughts are or like who you are, who you identify as a female, you work in marketing, you live in New Hampshire, all those things, those aren't you. The person that you are is the one who sees those things, how you react to those things, how you feel as a being is who you are. It doesn't matter what defines your life. All those external things are just experiences. And our life is not experiences. Later on in the book, he talks about this, about how there's this fear of when we think about death, which I'll get in a little bit later because the last few chapters do talk about death. That everybody says, oh, if you had a week left to live, what would you do? And they talk about like, oh, going there, doing this, all the things they've never done. But in fact, that isn't life. And that isn't how you should define having a successful life, is by the things you experienced. Having a successful life is the things you felt, the things that resonated in your heart. And to me, that has hit such a point because we're always striving for something. We're always thinking, oh, if just this could be better. Oh, if I just got that chair, then my life would be better. Oh, if I could just travel the world for work, my life would be so much better. But that's not it. That is definitely not it. And so then that becomes going on to like a bit later in the book, like page 50, he's coming to this idea of becoming aware of your thoughts. And I really liked the concept here of stepping back and just listening to your mind, and that you wouldn't really be friends with your consciousness. And so why are you letting it run your life? Why are you letting its thoughts continually project what you're going to do, who you're going to talk to, how you're going to interact, what you're going to feel? If you become the answer to everything, like you don't have to let other things control you. You just like recognize, yeah, that's my truth. That is my answer. That's how I want to feel, so I'm going to feel this way. Everything will change. Life as you know it will change. So then on page 65, he talks about your heart space, known as one of your chakras. And he talks about how this chakra oftentimes gets closed, and we're blocking energy by closing our heart. So one of the best things we can do is open our heart. Stop letting that blocked energy run our life, letting our heart open to all experiences, letting life come in, take us full. It's the way you react to things is based on all these things in your mind, all these predefined ways to stay in, to stay closed. But in fact, we can just open up. We can open and experience life in such a full manner. Our body is at a basis wanting to be in a happier state. We come out as babies just happy. We don't know all those worries. So we gradually close over time. So coming back, how can you open? How can you allow joy in your life every day? It's also talking about how you feel them in your body, because we allow those outer things to impact us because they're probably held somewhere inside. So just moving with that, seeing like, why am I holding those things? Why are they so present here? Why do I need them? Because you probably don't. It's crazy how much we hold on to that we don't actually need. And the best way that we can kind of just let these things go and stay open is to be present. And I know yoga teaches this. I know so many things are trying to tell us how to come into the now. But if we're present in that moment, when that person cuts us off, we're not going to let it ruin our day. We're going to be like, wow, that person just cut me off. Come back to where you're at right now. Because in the long run, you're never going to see that person. It really doesn't matter. Be present now. Release those things. Let them flow through you and let them flow out. Don't let them get stuck here, because getting stuck here will move elsewhere in the body. It'll take the mind away. It'll keep you reeling, stuck, not in the present. We don't want that. Unfinished energy ends up running your life. Quote from Micheal Singer. And as I was saying, those feelings of getting stuck, they stay there, and then we try to avoid them because we don't want that feeling again. So we try to avoid getting cut off. We lose a best friend, and we try to avoid losing another one. But in a way, those things that we're avoiding always come back to us. So kind of feeling into that, accepting it, looking at it. Why am I hiding from it? Why do I need to stay away from it? Things might just change a little. A lot of this buildup can lead to long-term emotions such as depression and sadness, and who wants to be sad when you can be happy? On page 96, Micheal goes into using our energies to close and protect ourselves. As I said, we do that with our heart space, and we wrap ourselves into these boxes that we have to stay in, like just not being able to get out, because if we go out, then how are we going to survive? But staying in those confined spaces to protect ourselves doesn't really allow us to live. On 101, he goes into talking about centering and letting go of your constant stream of thoughts. And I liked this idea. Obviously all of our minds wander. They go everywhere. And it can just start with a simple thing as looking at your finances. And you're like, oh my God, I messed up this month on budgeting. And my mind starts going. It's like, oh, now I'm going to have to cut out all of these things. And no, stop racing. Our mind projects into so many areas and predicts so many things that are probably not even going to happen. And then you've just wasted precious time in your life trying to predict the future, which nobody can predict. What you focus on grows, as I said earlier. And that just gets out of control. So why do we want to let those things run our lives? You can't fight the mind, and you can't try to change it. You just have to learn how to release it. We have a tendency to get drawn into that energy of changing things and being like, oh, I noticed this is happening, I need to change it in your mind. And that's a great start to mindfulness. But I love how Micheal Singer looks at this, because it's such a different way, and I've been really trying to figure out, like, how do you approach mindfulness? And coming into that present moment, obviously, but I haven't heard of anybody telling me to just try to release it. Just look at it and let it go. Let it wash over you like some water. Let it move through your body. And yoga is such a great way to do that, because you are moving, but sitting with those feelings. You just have to, let them go. Don't hold them there. Don't try to push them away. Feel them out. Sadness comes. We got to accept it. We just got to figure out a way to move on with it. Allowing you to control these littler aspects of your life will allow you to accept and control yourself and feel okay in much bigger, drastic situations. Because we are going to have those. That's inevitable with life. So just letting that happen, letting it be, accepting life, that you're on a journey, you're on a path. On page 142, 113. Got a little off track there. We have this concept of me against life. Everything's out to get you. And some days it can definitely feel that way. But we know it's not. And you gotta let go. It's just, people can get so wrapped up in that, like, this happened to me, this happened to me, this happened to me. And we all have had shit happen to us. Some of us a lot worse than others. And I totally get that. But why let that define you for the rest of your life? We're on this planet for just a little bit of time. You gotta accept that life isn't in your control and death is not in your control. And all these things that we want to try to control, we can't. So we're holding on to them and trying to avoid things that hurt us, that trigger things. But instead, we got to embrace those triggers. We got to embrace them and be like, hey, that's hitting a spot. Why? Dig into it, let it go. Open yourself up. Stop avoiding these things, because as you build these avoidances, you're building walls, blocking yourself from the potential of a full life. Now we're on to 142. He talks about life is suffering because we don't know what it is like to not suffer. Interesting. We always think something could be better. We respond to a day, oh, it was okay. Could have been better. I mean, it's an interesting way to live life, not necessarily how I'd want to do it. Because the fact is, however, external changes are not going to solve your problem, because they don't address the root of your problem. The root problem is that you don't feel whole and complete within yourself. If you don't identify the root properly, you will seek someone or something to cover it up. You will hide behind finances, people, fame, and adoration. If you try to find the perfect person to love and adore you, and you manage to succeed, then you have actually failed. Such a great idea. We're always striving. We're always like, oh, the perfect person. But no, because you didn't find it in your heart first. We have to be completely okay with ourselves. We have to let go of what other people's lives look like, what we expect our lives to look like, because, shocker, life isn't going to go exactly as you plan it. But everything will always be okay. Just begin to watch that mind talk and ask yourself why you do what you do. Why do you dress the way you dress? Why do you talk the way you talk? Why do you buy what you buy? Notice what's influencing you. Is it your choices? Is it how you feel? Or is it how other people feel? Because who cares what other people think? It's your life to live. They're not going to be the one there on their deathbed saying, I can't believe Katie dressed that way her whole life. No. But you'll sit on your deathbed and you'll be like, I can't believe I was always afraid to express myself, dress the way I like to. Then moving on to not being afraid of pain. We avoid things because we're afraid. We have to stop protecting this fortress of fear that we're living in. The ones we've built our own walls around to protect ourselves. Because they're not doing us any good. On 193, he begins to talk about things that don't fit, must be wrong. As I said, life isn't going to go the way you plan it. So just start to notice. Why do you do the things you do? Why do they make you comfy? What is allowing you to feel that way? You're creating that cage of protection once again, just by doing those habits. So letting go of them. Just release. Going on to page 217. Oh, 210. Might be. You attempt to create a sense of stability and steadiness inside. This generates a false but welcome sense of security. Correct. We know it. Why do we do it? Unknown. We don't need that security. We are secure enough in ourselves. You are a badass bitch. Or bitches. Or, I don't really know the male term for bitches. But whatever. You know what I'm talking about. You got this, homie. Hope somebody enjoys this. Ugh. Page 217 now. Direct quote that really resonated with me. Why should anything that anyone says or does cause you to get disturbed? Think about it. Ponder it. Love it. And then be like, fuck you. And all your little thoughts that you have about me or anything, because your opinions don't matter. The person outside of you doesn't matter, because anything that matters comes from here. So start listening. Stop listening to the outside. Start listening to the inside, and you're going to become so much happier. Page 226. He asks us, do you want to be happy? You don't need to qualify it. I mean, we're just floating in space. You have to be here, so why not be happy? When you're happy, your heart is open, the energy rushes in. And to keep this feeling going, you just have to not close. Not let those feelings of stress and sadness close your beautiful heart. Just keep it open. Let love in. Be free, be happy. Do what makes your soul enjoy things. Let go of the resistance, because you're wasting energy doing that. And as I said, we're only on this planet for a little while. You've just taken a little snippet. You get a sneak peek at what the world has. Take it in. Because reality, things may look bad. Things may be going in one wrong direction than another. But things are always going wrong in the world. There's always going to be bad people. You can't change that. You can change how you look at life and how you approach the relationships around you and how you're with those people around you. Because your suffering has no meaning. Nobody's going to remember a sad person. Nobody's going to be like, oh, they were the saddest person alive. I remember them. People are going to remember somebody like Gandhi that felt so much love and peace and gave it out to the world. On page 255, there was another quote I loved. It's where we moved into the concept of death. It shouldn't take death to challenge you to live your highest level. Live at your highest level. I really like this because it made me start pondering life. And he asks, how would your priorities change if you knew you had a week to live? And as I said earlier, it could be all the things you would have wanted to do and that you never got to. Or it could just be living your daily life. I really liked the concept of making your everyday be the best day, because it could be your last. You never know when your last breath is going to come in. And you can choose to be happy on that job you're going into. You can choose to be happy to have to make dinner. You can choose to be happy. Find those little things that make you happy, and life begins to get a whole lot better. You don't have to be doing exactly what you want to do. You don't have to be exactly where you need to be. But if you find those happiness and you're able to bring more love and light into your life, there's a lot more happiness to be spread around, and you're filled with a lot more meaning and a lot left of that, oh, what if? Because with 1 week, you're not going to go travel the world by yourself. You're going to go to your loved ones. You're going to sit with them, and you're going to be with them, because that is what life is about. It is about that connection. It is what makes us human, is that ability to feel love. We can just view life as not something you get, it's something you experience. You can view terrible things as another experience in life. And you can let that pendulum that swings from one opposite end to the other find its middle at Tao, where you're just at peace with all those things. You can really hate your body, you can really love your body, or you can be right in the middle. You can just be happy with whatever you have. You can really hate something, or you can really love it, and it's always going to be harder to be up on the end. It's going to be easiest to be right down in that center, or right in the middle of the two extremes. So work on finding your center. It's different for everybody. The last point that I have to make is working on just releasing. Release those lower vibrations. Release the personal self, that feeling of who you have to be. And view everybody like a garden of beautiful flowers. You're not looking at a flower saying one petal's weird or that it's odd. You're looking at a bountiful garden of flowers saying, wow, it's filled with so much joy and beauty. See that way about everybody else, and the world would be a lot better of a place. I hope you enjoyed this talk if you stayed for the whole time. Sorry it got a little long. This book just had so many great points that I wanted to bring up. If you have any questions, comments, please leave some messages underneath. You can always feel free to privately message me. I look forward to speaking with anybody that wants to talk about books anytime. I love any recommendations you guys have. Thanks so much for listening, and have a great day.